So when it comes to wheel cleaning, what's better, the Wheel Woolies or the Easy Detail brushes? The other type of brush that's similar to this, just a different name, is the Daytona Speedmaster and this Daytona Speedmaster Junior, I believe. There's this one, and then a smaller size one. I mean, again, same thing here. The Wheel Woolie brings 3 different types of brushes. So in this video, I'm going to compare the two, cleaning these very dirty wheels on his 2015 Range Rover Sport. Now, this is a perfect example because they are filthy. They haven't been cleaned in over a month, completely caked on brake dust. So and they're kind of complex wheels because there's 15 spokes, 21-inch rim, so there's plenty of real estate to cover. So this is going to be a perfect example to debate against which one is better, the Wheel Woolies or the Easy Detail brushes, or also the Daytona Speedmaster brushes, and which one you should choose, whether to buy these, the other kind, or both. Now, just to give you a little bit of context, it's not just the type of brush you're going to use. You also have to take into consideration the type of cleaner that you're using on the wheels, or if you're doing it on the engine cleaning, because if it's really caked on brake dust that hasn't been cleaned in years, and you're gonna use, an O&R wash on it with these brushes, probably nothing's gonna work because the brake dust is too caked on and you're using too weak of a solution to do new damage. So you had to probably up the solution, the cleaner you're using, to either an all-purpose cleaner, 1-to-1, perhaps a super degreaser from Meguiar's diluted 4-to-1, or maybe wheel brightener from Meguiar's as well, because you'll want to increase the strength of the solution because they're going to be really caked on brake dust that haven't been cleaned in years. So that compared with the added on with the brushes will make a difference. But again, the brushes themselves will not be the reason why they get cleaned. Another thing to consider is the type of wheel that you're cleaning. If you're using a very tight spoked wheels, like you'll see here, is then you won't be able to fit this big fat wheel willy in. Now, you might be able to fit the skinnier wheel willy, but now you have to take in consideration the length of the wheel willy, because maybe if the wheel is very long, the inside of the wheel, then this one won't be able to get all the way in, whereas this one will, because it's very flexible. Now, the problem with the Easy Detail brush is that once you retract it from the wheel, a lot of times the brake dust will come slinging back to your face. So it is recommended to wear some eye protection, some gloves, definitely some long sleeves if you don't want to get your skin dirty. But this definitely will sling back if you're not careful, and will just shoot you directly in the face. So again, it's not just about the wheel brushes themselves, it's the cleaner that you're using, the type of wheel that you're cleaning, how many spokes, how big is it, and then how caked on the brake dust is. Because even though this wheel here behind me is very, very dirty, it's actually not that difficult to clean. I've tested it on the other side, and regardless of which one I use, it's going to clean absolutely great. So in this example, either of these two would work absolutely fine, but again, you have to consider the other factors. And it's not like you're gonna know what cars you're gonna be cleaning on every single time, or how long the brake dust has been there, or how bad it's caked into the wheel. So you're not gonna know that. So ideally, would you want both? Yes, of course. But if you're, on a budget, if you don't want to spend that much, if you don't want to carry that many wheels and that many tools, then I'll help you make that decision in this video. Okay, for starters, I'll need to clean the tire because this is a customer's car and I need to clean the tire. And I've actually gone ahead and I washed, clayed, and waxed the paint already, so I'm actually doing the wheels and tires at the end, so which is why I'm being a bit more cautious to not sling the tire, to not sling the dirt everywhere back onto the paint. Now, these wheels and tires are very dirty, and it will put on a lot of dirt on the concrete, and they just did this concrete, so it's nice and not dirty, so it's still nice and white. So what you want to do is, before you get started, just spray some water on the ground to kind of help alleviate some of that. So once you've cleaned the tire, I won't rinse it down, I'll start on the wheels. Now again, the main focus is cleaning the inside of the wheels. So to clean the face, typically what people will do is use a wheel brush like this and go to town on it. But that would just take too long to do the entire wheel like that. So what I'll actually do is grab their fender brush and clean the face of it. So this is super degreaser diluted 4-to-1 from Meguiar's. I'll spray a little bit on the wheels. But honestly, in this particular instance, if I didn't even spray on any type of cleaner, the brush itself would take off all the brake dust, because it is literally right on the very top layer. It's not sunk into the wheel, so the cleaning on these wheels is very, very easy. But what I'll do is I'll just clean the top part of the wheel face to get most of it off, so I can hurry up the process and get the finer details with the smaller brush. Once that's done, I'll come back with the smaller brush Now here's a perfect example where these spokes, this wheel willy, the smallest wheel willy that comes with the set, actually fits perfectly into these spokes. So instead of using the brush, I can actually fit this wheel willy straight into the spokes of this wheel, and it cleans it out perfectly. Now again, keep in mind, this isn't because of the cleaner, this isn't because the wheel willy is so stiff. In this specific instance, it's because the brake dust cleans off so easily on this brush, which makes it super easy regardless of what wheel brush I'd use. Because the same thing would be applied if I used the small easy detail brush. I kind of lost the end of this one, but the same thing would apply here. It cleans off super easy because it's not the brush, it's not the cleaner, it's just the wheel. The brake dust itself isn't kicked onto the wheel, so it comes off effortlessly. And then I'll lightly mist the rim down and the tires. Okay, now so as far as cleaning the inside of the wheels, again, the cleaner itself here is irrelevant because it's not making much of a difference. I could not spray anything and it'll still clean out effortlessly. Now, as far as this big wheel woolly, it would fit into the bigger spokes, obviously, because it has enough clearance there, and I could get to the side where the smaller spokes are at, but I'd still be limited on my reach in terms of I'd still have blind spots, so to speak, inside the wheel, because I cannot fit it in here unless I really bang it in. But that's just gonna make me more work because I have to really squeeze it in there and then put it back out with some effort, which would just cost more time. So then I can switch to the smaller wheel brush, the smaller wheel willy, and this one would fit in there effortlessly, and I could possibly get most of the brake dust. But now, because this is a 21-inch rim and it's rather wide, and this is a bit skinnier than the bigger one, I can only reach to about 75–80% of the way in before I really have to start edging in my fingers in there. So in this instance, this wouldn't work to get the smaller areas because it's too small. Although the big wheel willy does fit into the bigger gap of the spokes, I am limited because I won't be able to maneuver the brush all the way around to get the entire back of the wheel clean. So in this instance, I can use the big wheel, the big easy detail brush to get the entire back of the wheel because it is so flexible, the brushes, that even though it is bigger, the bristles are bigger, it can still easily fit between the smaller spokes to clean everything. So in this instance, in this particular wheel, remember, not because the bristles are working so much better, not because I'm using such a strong cleaner, but because the fitment, this can clear all the spokes and get everywhere where I need it to, this one will win for this wheel. And because the bristles, as I'm retracting the brush back out, it's kind of cleaning the backside of the spokes as well. This wheel, the wheel woolies wouldn't do that because it's just more of a fluffy head and not long bristles like this where it'll kind of reach out and grab and clean everything else around it. So since I'm retracting it out, it is cleaning the backside of the wheel, of those spokes as well, which is an added benefit because you can see some of it from the outside. So this is easily cleaning that part too. Now I'll rinse it down. So based on my experience with the wheel woolies and the easy detail brushes, my recommendation, if you're debating whether you should get one or the other, and this is your first time buying a set of wheel brushes, then I would go with the easy detail brushes or the alternative, which is the Daytona Speedmasters. I think that's what it's called, because it's much more versatile with different wheels because it fits a lot better. It's less, so you can have the easy detail brush comes with 2 brushes, one big, one small, and the wheel woolly comes with 3. And I think just because the bristles can fit in much tighter areas, you can do a lot more with those 2 brushes than with the 3 brushes you'll have. Now, it's a case by case. There will be times still where you enter a wheel and the agitation from the bristles aren't just cutting it out, and the wheel woolly would be a better fit because you can actually really get there and agitate with down pressure on that brush. It's gonna be a case by case. There will be times where you'll need one more than the other. You will run into that. So if possible, if the budget allows, get both. It's not gonna hurt. But just starting off, you just want one set, you can only afford one, you don't want to carry that many tools, then I'll definitely recommend the easy detail brushes first. And later on in the future, once you see that, hey, you know, if I had the wheel woolies, this would be better than the easy detail brushes, then pull the trigger. Because with the easy detail brushes, you'll also be able to use that within the engine much more than what you could with the Wheel Woolies. So again, the wheels, it'll fit. You could put it, you could clean the inside of the exhaust tip with both the Wheel Woolies and the Easy Detail brushes. But again, the Easy Detail brushes, you can use it there, and you can also use it within the engine bay when you're engine cleaning. So I think the Easy Detail brushes is a much better fit if you're for your first set. Again, ideally, yeah, it'd be nice to have both, of course, because different wheels will yield different results with different brushes and cleaners. So again, it's not just the brush though; it's the type of wheel, the design, how kicked on the wheel, the brake dust is, and the agitation, and just a bunch of other things. It's not just the brushes that's gonna make or break the cleaning. If you do want to start your own business, if you didn't know that's possible, if you're just getting into detailing, you can start your own business by servicing customers and then paying you money. Check the description down below for more information to help you get started on starting or perhaps growing your detailing business.